welcome back to Art by Purnima. This morning we're going to do a beautiful butterfly painting with some lupins. I love lupins. I try and grow them in the garden and have been quite successful. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a tracing of a butterfly. So I've just got this prepared ready. I'm just going to put it at an angle on my page. I'm using Bockingford paper today, which is the cold pressed one. So I'm just going to trace the butterfly, make sure it's coming through with my propelling pencil. Okay, so that's the butterfly traced. What I'm then going to do is I'm just going to put some outline on for some lupins. So what I'm going to do is just going to draw a dotted line. It's quite a long tapered flower, quite conical at the top. So I'm just going to put some dotted lines on just to represent where we're going to be painting them. Okay, I think we can start off with about 3. So these are the colours that I'm using today. First thing I'm going to do is start off painting the butterfly. So I'm just wetting the paper first, or wetting the butterfly, and then make sure that you stay within the outlines. I'm using my number 4 brush this morning. Okay, so I'm just making sure the paint's all mixed nicely. I'm starting off with the Winsor lemon, or you can choose a light coloured lemon. Just drop the colour in. We're going to be doing a wet in wet. So I'm going to start off with the lightest colour. What I'm going to now do is go in with my permanent yellow deep, and I'm just going to drop that in while the lemon's still wet. This is a wet and wet technique. So just drop the colours in. Make sure that you can see a little bit of the yellow coming through, so I'm just touching the edges. Okay, then I'm going to go to my Scarlet Lake. What I'm going to do is use this very sparingly. Just going to water it down a little bit more and then just touch it in the middle. And that's just going to come through very orangey and just brighten up our colours. So going to wait and let that dry and see what happens. But whilst that's drying, we're going to start on the lupins. I'm just going to spread the colour a little bit more on the butterfly, and then I'm not really going to be touching it too much, just drop a little bit more in. Just going to take off a little bit from the middle, but don't worry too much about the middle because the body's going to be black, so we'll override that. Okay, so let that dry off. So in the meantime, we're going to get the paint ready for the lupin. So what I've got is some olive green today. You can use whichever green you've got. And I'm going to start off by doing the top section of the lupin. They're quite tapered at the top, so I'm just going to get my brush and very gently just start to put these little conical type shapes in. So I'm not going in any specific order. What we might do is first of all just put the stem in the middle, just to give us an idea of where we're going. So I could put all the stems in the central bit. So then we've got an idea of which way we're heading. Okay, so let's get the brush loaded up with the green. And what I'm doing is I'm just going from down one side. I'm just using the brush at a slight angle just to create the little shapes. In fact, I'm just dabbing, so I'm not worrying too much about making it too neat and tidy. It's going to be quite a loose painting, and we don't want to go all the way down. The tips are usually green, so I'm going to do that on all of them. purple on the base as well, whilst I've got the green on my brush. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start off with the actual flower bit of the lupin. So I've got a beautiful Quinacridone Lilac. It's a lovely bright pink. So I'm just loading that up on my brush. Make sure you've got a full load on it. You want quite a watery mix, and then you want to go back and start off putting the little dots in the same fashion as we did with the top green little bits. So you just want to do little cone-like shapes just to represent the flowers. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time to do that. As we get to the bottom, it tapers down a little bit. Okay, for the next lupin I've got some violet mixed ready, so I'm going to start off with the violet for the middle one. In the same fashion, I'm just going to put the little flowers in. Okay, so that's our second lupin done. Then I'm going to go back to the original Quinacridone Lilac, or the pink, whichever one you've got really. I'm using the Quinacridone. And then I'm going to do the final one. Okay, so that's the flowers painted. What we're going to do now is we're just going to go back in to the first lupin, back with our Quinacridone, and we're just going to put a few deeper sections on the flower just to give them a bit more dimension. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around and just dotting, not all the way, just towards the base. And this will give us a little bit more depth to the floral parts. Okay, so I'm going to just let that dry a little bit. I'm going to just go back to the top and just put a few more tips of the green on. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to go back down to the stem. I'm just going to put a little bit more green on the stem. This time I'm using a little bit of sap green. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a couple of leaves. So the lupin leaves are like little star shapes. So I'm just going to put a couple of leafy stems in first. I'm just going to start off with a little petal-like shape and then just carry on around to create a nice leaf shape. Okay, so that's our leaves done. What we're going to do now is check on the butterfly. It's dry now. So with the uni pen, which is the waterproof one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to colour the centre bit in. I think this will be easier than trying to paint it in because it's quite fine. Because we're just going to get the black pen again and just going to put an outline onto the butterfly. Just to show some definition on the wings. The colours have dried really pretty if you look. They've merged in quite nicely. What we're going to do is put a couple of dots in. Okay, and then last of all what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the finer pen and I'm just going to put a few lines coming down the butterfly. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the butterfly is brightened up beautifully. What we're going to do is just go into the leaves again and just put a few more shadow parts on the little leaves. Just going back in with the olive green and the sap that I've mixed together now, and just putting a few lines here and there. I'm just going to drop a bit more colour onto the actual top of the green as well. Then what I'm going to do is just give my lupin a final layer of colour again. I just want to brighten it up a little bit more, so just go back in with the pink. You need to let the layers dry in between and just go and put the next layer in. What this does, it just gives it a little bit more depth. Okay, so that's our lupin and butterfly picture done. Hope you've liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I hope it inspires you to have a go as well. So thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll be back soon. So bye for now.